advance.
You should be sorry.
Make sure you get in total, Andrew.
You don't have to do that, though. Okay. We put some scrap paper in, so I'm going to have to fake it for a couple of these lines because they reprinted over the... Okay, good. So we'll just roll with that. I'm just going to jump in, if you don't mind. Please don't turn away from your food. Just eat, drink. I'm just going to be background music for a little bit. Pardon. Thanksgiving. What can I say about you that hasn't already been said here in this living room more eloquently and with greater pathos by my own father year after year? Could I find a clue in the work of the great poets? In Dante, perhaps? I started immediately for the bookshelves. Surely there is a tremendous trove of holy wonder, terror, and pious awe in Dante's Divine Comedy. The tale of one man's beatific safari through the spheres of hell, purgatory, and heaven, guided by Virgil as well as by Dante's ideal and, of course, idealized, his beautiful, but of course his drastically, one might even venture to say, Catholically unattainable, and perhaps slightly mawkish beloved Beatrice. Surely in Dante a passage would ripen and fall to earth just in time for our Thanksgiving convocation. But could Dante do Thanksgiving justice? Though the text of the Commedia is beautiful even in translation and suffused with the poet's immaculate conception of the universal order, ultimately it was too austere. Damnation and hellfire, charming though they might be, weren't exactly what I was looking for in a Thanksgiving reading. I put the Divine Comedy back on the shelf, and after picking through a succession of, again, quote-unquote, classic American writers, cherished authors like Walt Whitman and Robert Frost, even E.B. White, I felt my short-lived project had already gone to seed. Nothing quite grabbed me, nothing quite spoke to me regarding this moment. So I played a little game with myself, one I try to remember whenever I feel the need to start out again from scratch. It's a little game that I actually learned from reading Plato. The Platonic dialogues often begin with a simple, unassuming question, often posed by Plato's teacher, Socrates. What is love? What are its characteristics? What is truth? What are its characteristics? I asked myself a very basic question. What is Thanksgiving? What are its characteristics? In short, what is true about Thanksgiving? As I like to do when I'm feeling churlish and quite on the brink of something, I got out a fresh sheet of paper and a pen, squinted my eyes into what the great actors call the middle distance. This is where the text gets a little... Oh yes, of course. So the basic part of what I want to say is, so this is, what follows is kind of my idea about what I could say, what's true about Thanksgiving, and during the rest of the meal, because we're kind of non-Quaker Quakers here in this household, everyone should feel free to stand up and give any reflections that they feel appropriate if they're inspired to. So, this is what I jotted down. Thanksgiving is a harvest celebration. It's a feast or a festival, they're related words, that comes at the end of the growing season as the world prepares for winter. On TV, we can watch or not watch the big football games and the Macy's Day Parade, and that's part of the culture. But it's not what defines Thanksgiving, at least not if we're to start from scratch. So what is this harvest festival? I think first of our cuisine, the game turkey or farm turkey, cranberry, sweet potato, corn, and kugel, as I'm wearing now. I'm pronouncing that right. But it's something more too. It's the spirit of the place. In the Northeast, we really get the full Monty. Driving through the snow last night in our little two-wheeler rented car, Andrew and I, well, at least I really felt immersed in the folklore of Thanksgiving. Thoughts of home blend in with the magic of the onset of those deep autumn snows. The pleases me to no end to think about families in Palm Springs, sitting around a table, giving thanks. But for me, it's hard to imagine Thanksgiving without that kind of rugged beauty that comes with late autumn in upstate New York. Ours, after all, is the land where the traditional Thanksgiving cuisine originates. It may not be universally true about the Thanksgiving experience, but it's true here for us, at least. So, while Thanksgiving is a cornerstone of American culture, and in my opinion, it's our greatest national holiday, sure beats Flag Day. And it's the one holiday most worth preserving and revering, in my view. And while all this is true about Thanksgiving in America, Thanksgiving as a celebration has a great deal in common with other harvest festivals that have occurred each year at the end of autumn in many diverse cultures, time out of mind. It's a moment of savoring. It's something that can be appreciated regardless of race, religion, or geography, or epoch. This holiday, more than other national holidays, has this grain of spiritual renewal. At least it's instantly recognizable to all cultures. It's kind of a farewell, even though outwardly it's really a time to say hello again. It's a farewell in the sense that we kind of say farewell to our old selves and the selves that were kind of cultivated and born up during the growing season. And, you know, if we're going to start from scratch, we enter into this long winter and this kind of hibernation where we prepare to return to life again anew with the new year in springtime. Joseph Campbell tells us why Christ's birth is celebrated not at midsummer, but at this time of year, less than a month from now. Since midsummer, the days have been getting shorter and shorter. In October, of course, we turn back the clocks, fall behind. As we approach the winter solstice, we get closer to the period when the days begin to get longer again. In Christian theological terms, this may be thought of as a death and a resurrection, a chance for a spiritual rebirth coinciding with the rebirth of the year. And it's a beautiful paradox of our existence that new life always comes out of this coldest season. So Thanksgiving is nothing if it's not a moment for savoring. Savoring the work of the growing season, savoring the year. It's a moment for contemplation, and crucially, it's a moment for renewing one's vows. For how can we truly give thanks without renewing our vows in some way? Our vows to each other, our vows to the earth of stewardship and peacemaking, and importantly, the vows we make to ourselves in stillness and quiet. Am I continuing to pursue the kind of life that I would respect if I saw it in another? Am I continuing to challenge myself to review my actions, to summon forth the courage to make changes where necessary? This process may be thought of as a renewal of vows. This too may be thought of as giving thanks. The hope that arrives with the new season is in some way the aspiration for a refinement of purpose. That this year, finally, we're going to get it right. Not that we've been living in some kind of slovenly disarray in a state of godless torpor and confusion. No, not that. But that this year we're going to confine and continue to refine one part of us that's still raw, uncarved, uncatered to, less loved, less in the light of day. With the new season comes the promise that renewing our vows, we're going to become angry less generally, and maybe instead more specifically. Not with the general malaise that poisons the well, but maybe with a sharper focus and an eye on changing what's wrong. Like the Maccabees, we hope against hope for a better and more righteous life ahead. I just have a few more quick notes. For many of us, Thanksgiving is a homecoming, one we've so longed for, and one we rejoice in if we are lucky. And here, we are lucky. So to those of us who live elsewhere during the year, welcome home. It's good to see you. I want to hear all of your stories. I used to joke that I wanted every day to be Thanksgiving, and contrary to popular belief, it wasn't just because of the turkey and Mom's pecan pie. I wanted every day to be Thanksgiving because in this little flash of romanticism, I wanted that feeling that every day my life was giving thanks and immersed in that feeling of renewal, feeling of savoring one's life so fully that we get this time of year. But the truth is that we can incorporate Thanksgiving in small ways, in regular and important ways. In our daily lives, this is just my view, we really need this annual ritual, this experience of congregation, this yearly coming together of the families, because what would life be without it? They used to say it takes a village, and the truth is it still does. In the past, Dad has spoken about common ground, not in the abstract, but in the concrete sense, real space on this earth and how we share it together. Each year at Thanksgiving, I'm proud that we achieve what can only be thought of as the platonic ideal of common ground. May we spread this good example to our communities in our diaspora from the Mohawk Valley in Pittsburgh, in Philadelphia, in Brooklyn, in life. Hello to Leo. Hello to Rosie. Hello to Annabelle. Welcome. I know it's your first time among us. I hope this is the first time of many, many, many. We're also proud of our cousin Dan, who just bought his first house up on Carlin Road in Delta Lake. Congratulations, Dan. Grandma is here, and we're so happy she decided to come back east. These past few years, all of our holidays have been truly improved by your presence, Grandma. What's missing is our sister Allison.
Yes.
It's hard to put together a tribute for such an amazing person as Allison. All I can say is I miss our dear sister, and it's fitting that the reason she's not among us today is she's facing a crucible head-on, learning trauma surgery, excelling in her medical studies. Also, I wanted to give a thought for the Welcons family who shared many meals with us here in the past. May their Thanksgiving be warm and full of love and good tidings as ever. Happy Hanukkah to you all. God bless you and welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. I'm so glad we're together again. Enjoy dinner, and as I said, please don't hesitate to chime in. Okay?
And Anakin, what do you want to say? What do you want to say?
If anybody else is moved to say something, please don't hesitate.